What's up, guys? Jason Guyman here tonight, and I've gotten a lot of questions, and I know other people have gotten lots of questions. I actually posted something here earlier today, and one person, David Hamill, was said that he did $500,000. And someone had said, how do you do it? How do you do marketing? What's so special? What are you doing to be able to get to these levels? I talked to Justice this morning. He didn't quite hit his goal, but he did over $500,000 in a Christmas light and pressure washing business in 2024. And so he's been in business 3 years, 4 years. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about the successes of these guys and how do they get to $500,000 or $1 million. And so I know I've talked to Daniel and he's had people call him asking, how do you do it? And, I'm going to kind of break it down a little bit of what these guys do to be able to get into business like this. Some people will say, well, Jason, just in my area, you can't do those numbers. And I would disagree with you. And here's why I would disagree with you, because there's some of these people that I'm talking about aren't in big areas, right? Hamill's in 80,000. He lives in a town of 80,000. You have Justice. He's in a town that has one of the biggest pressure washing competitors out there in the country. PPW is in his neck of the woods. And so he's still doing $500,000 in pressure washing and Christmas lights. This year he did a $200,000, I think $200,000 to $300,000 in Christmas lights alone. And so we're going to talk about how these guys are doing this. What's the secret sauce? What makes them so special or not so special? And what's holding some of them back? I'm going to tell you some of the parts what are holding them back, because I've seen some of them and I know what's holding them back. And so we're going to talk tonight a little bit about these things of how to grow this business and how to get it above six figures, how to hit the six figures, how to get, once you're at six figures, how do I go to $500,000? How do I get it to $1 million in Christmas lights? And that's what I'm going to hit on. I'm going to hit the secrets, right? I'm going to hit on what it takes to be able to get to this. And, I will tell you something that every one of these guys have in common. Jeremy Main, all these guys, they have every one of these guys I know, I can tell you from my sources that they have this one thing in common. And so we are going to hit on this a lot as we go through that. And so tonight, that is what I'm going to work on. And a lot of this, I believe this is a book that I push so hard. And I push on it because I believe this is part of reason why a lot of these guys are able to hit these numbers and able to do a lot more. And it is one of my favorite books, Think and Grow Rich. If you've watched any of my videos, you know I push this book. I believe in this book, and I believe you should believe in this book. And so it is a great book. It is a book that will help you find out how to grow this business, right? And so this is something that I want you to be able to grow this business and to get way further than where you could do. And at the end of the day, what is success? Some success is a lot different than other successes. So I'm going to break down each one of these guys a little bit, and I will let you know where their faults are, right? Where could they do better? What can they do? And so I know some of you are winding down. I know some of you still have a full week of installs this week. I typically say you will probably get some phone calls on Monday. This is, this Sunday, Monday. You're going to get some more phone calls, so you be ready to be able to get this week booked out too. So don't give up 100% thinking that you may be all the way done with Christmas lights at the end of the season. So this weekend, I I had some things. My oldest daughter is sick as a dog, and so I had to stay home with her. I had some things that I did on Saturday and got some things done around the house while I was home. And so I've had kind of a chill weekend, and I'm excited to see what this new year has to come. And this has been a great year of 2026. I know we're not completely over yet, but it's exciting to see people hit very large milestones in the Christmas light business. And it's exciting for me to help you guys that are wanting to grow more and help you get to where you want to be at. And so that's what we will work on tonight. So, reason what brought this up is this morning I was just getting moving around, and Justice Baker came to a class about 3 years ago. He was broke. He had no money. He was hurting. I mean, they were broke as broke could be. He had started his pressure washing business earlier in that season, and he came for Christmas light class. It was a late class. It was the end of October, 1st of November class. And from that, he has grown his business from just barely doing $100,000 in pressure washing and Christmas lights to over $500,000 this year. Now, where could he do better? And so, what are some things that he does well? He does do yard signs for marketing. And one of the things that I would say that help people get to these numbers is they're doing marketing. Now, some of them are spending a lot of money in marketing, and some of them aren't spending so much in marketing. And so with Justice, he does a lot with Facebook. And as we move into 20 and 25, 26, I think that personal branding is going to be huge. I think it's going to help you with AI. I think it is going to help you in your business, and it is going to make you real. Some of you are shaking in your boots right now when I talk about personal branding and making videos and showing pictures of you and taking action. Because all these people that I'm going to talk about tonight, they all take action. There is no magic pill out there. None of these guys have been handed anything to them. They've all started from scratch, and this is what makes them unique, right? There's nothing special about any one of these guys that I am talking about tonight. Justice, I don't even know what he was doing before he started. I think he was a youth pastor. He was a youth pastor, not doing much. I've got Jeremy Main. They didn't quite hit as much, but they had a big fire at their building, and that took their mind off some of it. But they still are going to do over $1 million in their business. And he was a garbage man. I've got Daniel. He was a soccer coach. I've got, I can go on, right? And so there's nothing special. They didn't go to college. Most of these guys, some of them went to college, but they didn't go to college for business. And so it's not like there's some educated dude that is amazing of why they are at where they are. So that is what we need to do. So the first thing is marketing. All of them do marketing, right? I know some of them do Facebook ads. I know some of them do yard signs. I know some of them do both. I know some of them are doing Google ads. Some of them are doing Facebook organically. That's how Justice has done a lot. That's how Bobby Duncan has done a bunch. They do amazing at the Facebook organic. And this is kind of back to the personal branding side of things. So again, I know there's other people out here that are crushing it too, that are in that $500 to $1 million range, which is amazing. And again, with these other guys, there's nothing special about them either. And so when we talk about marketing, it is a huge key of what grows this business. If you don't have people knowing who you are, it's not going to help you. You know, it's all the way down to getting your Google business up. It's down to adding your pictures. It's down to getting your reviews. You might not think that reviews are a huge thing, but reviews are huge, right? If you need tap cards, right? So that way at the end of the job, you can just tap their phone and that gives that review link, and we're asking for that review right then and there. And again, these review cards, if you want them, christmaslights.io, it's a marketing resource. You can get review cards, tap cards, so that way you can do it. You can get the review cards. These are all things that are going to get you more reviews, because if you don't get more reviews, then you're not going to get more leads, right? And so these are things that I want you to hit on for sure. I didn't make my goal this year, but I sure did surpass my last year's goal. Awesome. Awesome, 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 Ryan. So that is one thing that I would say is you got to get reviews. Now, once we do all this marketing stuff, you have to answer your phone. I see this a lot of times. People struggle to answer their phone. And when you struggle to answer the phone, this is something that's going to kill your business. You know, I've taught many classes, and every one of these guys that I'm talking about have been to my class. Every one of them. They've all been to at least one of my classes, if not two or three of my classes, because what they've learned is how they have grown their business. You know, I know other people that do Christmas light training, and my Christmas light training is different. My permanent light training is different. I'm not here to sell products. A lot of Christmas light trainings out there are all about selling the products. And I'm not here to sell products. I'm here to make you successful. I'm here to get you to $500,000. I teach you to get to $1 million. It's up to you if you're going to take action on what I teach you to be able to get there. Because this is something that, you know, I've known other people, they've went to other classes and we asked them, is that what you learned there? Did you teach a lot about product? And they said, absolutely. If you want to learn about products, you go to other classes. If you want to learn how to grow a business, this is where you come, because I'm going to teach you the marketing. I'm going to teach you the sales. I want you to grow your business. And this is what every one of them, everyone that I'm talking about, they don't sell the bulbs. And a lot of people are going to teach you to sell the bulbs. And every one of these guys that I'm talking about are selling at $8, $10, and $12 a foot. And you might say, well, Jason, you just don't understand. I understand 100%. Because if you believe you can't get $8 a foot in your area, it is your fault. It ain't nobody else's fault. I'm going to pick on one of my buddies here, David Merle. David Merle, when I posted it up there, he's like, yeah, I sold a couple jobs at $8 a foot by accident. But wait, you told me that you can't get $8 a foot. He accidentally charged the wrong price and they said yes. But you told me you can't get that. But yet you can get that. You can't get it because you don't believe that you can get it. And if you're thinking about price the whole time as your sales part, and that's what you're worried about, it's going to be really hard to close these jobs at these $18,000, $2,000, $3,000 average tickets. And so it's all about how do you change your mindset and start believing that you are worth $2,000. You're not worth $500. You're not worth $4 a foot. You're not worth $6 a foot, because you're worth $8 a foot. You're worth $10 a foot. And is there going to be a cheap guy in every one of these neighborhoods? Absolutely. You know, Daniel, I know a lot of people in Daniel's area that hang lights in that exact area. Some of them have come to my class and some of them haven't. And some of them will tell me, Jason, you can only get $6 a foot in this area. But I know 3 or 4 people in that area getting the 8, 10, 12, $14 a foot because that's what it's all about. I want you to grow this business. I want you to be able to get your business to where you want it to be at. And, I, I talk to a lot of people. You know, Justice said on his message, he's like, I can't wait to come back to another class because every time I have people come back to classes all the time and they always learn something else and something more to go to the business because I don't keep my classes the same. I change them up. Why do I change them up? Because a lot of things change, especially in marketing alone. And so these are all things that make the difference of why you can make it and get to where it is. I'm in Central Valley, California, and I'm locking permanent light jobs in at $11 a foot. Hopefully you're not permanent light jobs at $11 a foot because you're going to go broke if you are. Permanent light jobs should be $30 to $50 a foot, is what permanent light jobs should be. But again, this is something that what makes these couple that are separate. So one, they've all come to training. Two, some of these people go to other training. I know they've had other coaches, and you have to, some people, the best investment you can make is in you. That is the best investment that you can make is investing in yourself. Because, I see Nathan right here, right? Nathan's came to a class. Nathan's invested in other stuff. I know he invested in the Grant Cardone stuff. He's invested in other things because when you invest in yourself and you learn how to do sales better, you learn how to do different things better. It's amazing of how you're able to get to the $500,000, the $1 million mark in a Christmas lights alone business. And it is something that as we do this, it's exciting to see that people that are successful and what makes them successful. It drives me crazy a lot of times. I hear these things because I know people call David Hamill. I know people call Sam. I know anybody that I've had on my live, they've called them basically. And they're like, how do you do it? Right? I know you guys do because you guys just don't want to listen, some of you. But here's the ticket to it, right? You have to change the way you think and get into a mindset that you are worth the $8 to $10 a foot. That we want our average ticket to $2,000. We're adding the ridges, we're adding the stuff, right? Because that's what I'm telling these guys to do. Because it's important that these are the little things that separate you from the other competitors. And I wouldn't even call them competitors. I was doing some research, and it said that only 32% or 33% of people in the service business industry answer their phone. But Jason, it's a spam call. Is it? Or is it a customer? Yes, it may say spam on your phone, but is it really spam? But Jason, they're out of town. Are they out of town, or do they own a home in that area too? Why are you not answering the phone? I am on the job. I'm on the ladder. I'm on the roof. And this is one of the things that I'm going to hit on Justice, right? This year I told Justice, I was like, you need to get off the truck. You will not hit your goals with you on your truck. And guess what? He didn't hit his goal this year because he was still on the truck. He had capable people of him not being there. He had several capable people of him not being there. And him, by being on the truck, kept him from hitting his goals. Because when you're on the truck, your mind space is worried about getting that job done. Your mind space is not about getting that quote sent out in 10 minutes from once you answered the phone. Your mindset is not answering the phone. Your mindset is not thinking about other ways of getting marketing. Your mindset isn't thinking about follow-ups. your mindset isn't thinking about other things and getting that job done. And so this is why it is so important that we get off of the truck. Because if you don't get off the truck, it will hold you back. And this is an important key for you to grow this business. And so everybody else that I've talked about tonight all have gotten off the truck. And it's important that you get off the truck. And so how do we get off the truck? It's called learn how to be a leader. You have to be a leader. You know, I hear some of you guys be like, I've hired 10 people and they all suck. Well, let me tell you something. You might want to look in the mirror, because if you don't look in the mirror, you are the one that probably sucks. And so, yes, this is recorded. This is on YouTube. This is on Facebook, and it'll be the rerun will be up. This is something that is super important for you to grow this business in next year. If you don't know how to get off the truck, if you don't know how to hire people, you know, my Christmas site class here in October, I brought in a specialist that teaches you how to hire people. But you want to know what's funny? Not a lot of people listen to that class. He also talked about leadership. And leadership is more important, than I believe, than hiring. Because if you can't lead people, it doesn't matter how many people you hire. You can hire 25 people and they all will suck. Because if you suck as a leader, so does your people underneath of you. And I've seen it over and over and over. I understand this 100%. When I had my business, 6 months to a year was all we kept people, and they would quit. It wasn't because it wasn't them, it was me. And so it's something that you have to start figuring out how to do this. You know, if you've read the book, what's it called? I can't think of the name of the book. Jocko's book, Extreme Ownership. Read it. It's another great book, Extreme Ownership. He talks about in the Navy SEALs where they are doing a challenge. And the number one boat is the number one boat, time after time after time. And the number 6 boat is the same boat, time after time after time. They changed the leader of the 2 boats. The number 1 boat was still the number 1 boat for a while. But then that number 6 boat started creeping up. And the only thing changed was the leader. The same people was on that boat. The same people were on the boat of number 1. But it had a different leader. That number 6 boat finally beat the number 1 boat. Why? Because of the leader. If you suck as a leader, it's going to be really hard for you to learn how to get people and keep people, how to treat people. Because this is the thing that I agree exactly right here, right? No bad teams, only leaders. And this is something that as you grow this business, it's important that you understand that if you want to get to $500,000, if you want to get to $1 million, you got to be able to hire people and underneath of you. It's going to be really hard to hit $1 million by yourself in a Christmas light business. It's probably about impossible to hit $500,000. So these are all things of what you need to do. So get off the truck is my next thing on the side of leadership. What else makes these people special to get their business to $500,000, $1 million? They take action. You know, I've been on many phone calls. Some of these guys have been in my Monday night marketings. They're learning. Excuse me. And they're taking action. You know, what you focus on and what you water grows. And so the people that I do know that hit the $500,000 or $1 million, they focus really hard on this business. You know, David Hamill's been in business for years, years and years and years. And he still come and brought his son to do a Christmas light class with us and how to do door knocking. Why? Because that's how they got to $500,000. They only started this business 3 or 4 years ago with a town of 80,000 people. They don't live in a big town. They only have 80,000 people. And so it's important that we sit there and we think about things of how do we get to this business. I love when people tell me that they have people call them and ask the questions of how they get there, because a lot of it, I've had many, many phone calls with a lot of people in this group here that I'm talking about that's hit the $500,000 or $1 million mark. You know, I know Sam Else, he has his own little, teaching, but I've talked many times. One of his biggest things that I still remember that has probably made him a fortune is the Indianapolis Zoo. And how did you do? Did he make a lot of money off the Indianapolis Zoo the first time? No, he didn't. But what he got was backlinks from the zoo. And those backlinks alone are worth gold from a place like Indianapolis Zoo. So he didn't think that was something I was like, if they can't pay you a lot, then ask for a backlink, right? Tell them that this there. And if you go look at his post, you will see that they tag him in his post, they tag it online, and that's a huge thing for you in this business. So these are all things that every one of these have been successful with. I have another friend and I still laugh at because he was cheap. He's in the same area as Sam. Cheap. Their motto was put them up as fast as put them up cheap or something, like something stupid. And it's like, why do it for cheap? What's the purpose? You ain't making no money. Why hang Christmas lights and take your chance of falling off? This is something that a lot of people have fallen off this year. And it's not worth it. I had another message this morning because I've been shouting him out in his group because he needs help. He fell off. I don't have insurance. And so, yes, I did post his stuff for the GoFundMe because if people can help him, then at least that's the least I can do at this point. I don't want you falling off the roofs. I want you staying safe. I want you to think about things. Don't do sketchy things. But sometimes accidents happen. Some people are like, I've been doing this for 20 years. Well, you've been lucky for 20 years. Because all it takes is that one time. That one time you fall off and you broke both ankles, both feet, both legs, get a concussion, die, all the above. And so it is something that is important that you understand and grow this business. How come he didn't make money on it? So he did. It's just he did it cheap because he wanted to do half the zoo and he did it for just labor. So these are all things when we're thinking about growing this business. What do we need to do to be able to get there? And so if you want to grow this business in 2026, these are some things that you need to work on. First off, do you have your Google business profile? If you do, does it have 100 pictures? Are you posting at least once a week all year long? Do you have 50 or 100 reviews? If not, how do we get there? Start getting more reviews. And I'm not talking about a Google business that does landscaping and pressure washing and Christmas lights. I'm talking about, do you have a business that all it is a Christmas light business? It's not nothing else. It's all on its own, a Christmas light business. That's the first thing. Second thing, are you getting the reviews? Are you posting your pictures? Only on this here. Do you have a website? Because you almost need a website now to be able to get this. Are you working on SEO for that website? Are you working on your personal brand? Do people know that you are the Christmas light guy? Do people know that you are the go-to people for Christmas lights? Because if people on your social media don't know that you are the Christmas light people, then how else are anybody else supposed to know that you're the Christmas light guy? So do people know that? So you have a website, you have your Google My Business, get your Facebook stuff going. If you want to do commercial, get your LinkedIn stuff going. These are all things that you can be doing in the off season. Because yes, we'll be taking down lights in January, but are we working on getting our contracts done in January for next year? Do we have a plan that if they pay in a 10-month payment plan? Do we have a plan that if they pay upfront full payment in January, that we can do whatever? Have you even thought that far? If you haven't, then let's start thinking about these things. How many people next year are you going to call during the season to get ready for Christmas lights so that you can do the HOAs, so that you can do the commercial buildings? One thing I would tell you to do right now, go down around your cities and look at all the Christmas lights and start taking names down. So that way you can go knock on their door and see how satisfied they are with their current Christmas light company. Because if they're doing a crappy job, guess what? You become their Christmas light guy next year. Or you can knock on the neighbors' doors and start saying, hey, we know they do Christmas lights. Do you want your lights to look better? And yes, you have to get out of your comfort zone. Being in your comfort zone is not going to grow your business. If you're not willing to call people, then don't expect them to buy from you. You know, Daniel calls 10 people every day, 10 to 20 people every day during the off season. And guess what? He got one of the largest commercial HOAs. Was it the first call? No. He made 10 calls to that person or those people. And you got to do the same thing. It's that consistently building your business. If you think it's easy, none of these guys did it and it's easy. I promise you, it is not easy. It takes work. It takes dedication. It takes a loss of sleep. It takes closing jobs at midnight. It takes getting bids out at 2:00 in the morning. But Jason, I don't want to work that late. Then do you not want to do 100,000? Do you not want to do 600,000, $500,000, where you might want to be at? It takes time. I don't want to answer the phone at 6:00 while I'm eating dinner. Your competitor will. So why won't you? That's the question. You know, it's funny to see and hear when people ask these guys, what are they doing? What's so special? What's their magic sauce? The magic sauce is real simple. Do the work. Take action. Answer your phone. Do marketing. Quit overthinking it. A lot of people quit selling the bulbs. Quit talking about how you peak the bulb, because that's selling the bulbs. Quit talking about it. And people be like, I don't talk about that. If you mention it one time in your sales presentation, you talk about it. Start selling the magic. Do you tell them how awesome their house is going to look with these lights on? How can they buy from you if they're not even imagining what it can look like? It's this book. We want them to have the desire of their house is going to look amazing. If we don't give them that desire, they're not going to buy from you. And if they don't know you and they don't trust you, they're not going to buy from you either. Because again, how do we get to know, like, and trust? Are you doing videos on here? Are you doing lives? But Jason, I suck. Well, you're probably right if you think you do. It's okay that you say ums, and it's okay that you stumble because it's real and people want real. And I believe in 2026, it's going to even be more about the realness because with AI, I can literally make a perfect video. But do they want perfect or do they want you as a human? And you as a human, that's the only thing going to separate you at that point. So, what are you going to do? Are you going to take action? Are you going to sit around and hope that you can get to $1 million or hope you can get to 500,000? Because hoping don't get there. What actions are you going to take? What are you going to learn to get better at? If you're not very good at sales at the point, then what sales courses are you going to take to learn how to do sales better? What are you going to do to change the way you think and the way you believe? You know, Jeremy, he was a garbage man. They're doing over $1 million. Right now, he's at Michael Burnoff and investing in himself. Probably costing him 10 grand to be there right now. And so he's investing in himself. He's learning how to better himself. And it's the importance of what makes you better at the end. It's the importance of how do you grow this business? What do you need to do to take action? And so these are all things that I just want you to think about. What are some things that you need to do to make yourself better this year? And again, I want you to have success. I want you to be my next person that gets to $500,000 or $1 million or $2 million. I think you can. I think there's people in this group that can get to $2 million. Is it going to be easy? No, it's not going to be easy. Does it take work? It absolutely takes work. But Justice did it. Is there anything special about Justice? He's just a young kid, 25, 26 years old. Daniel, he's not much older. David's old as the hills. So I'm hitting on this because it doesn't matter how young you are or how old you are. It's how much are you going to take action. And here's the other thing. If you want to get there, you have to do what they did to get there. And every one of these guys, none of them just did this magic poof and it happened. You have to do the things they did to get there, right? Yeah, you got to make videos. You got to go out there and hit on things. These are all things that you have to do to grow this business. Daniel said it took 3 years to get that HOA. 3 years to get an HOA. Are you calling them for 3 years? Or are you just hoping that it comes? Because hope doesn't get you there. Taking action, growing your business, growing your mindset, figuring out systems. How do I install faster? How do we install faster? What tips and tricks can we grow? I've had people come to my class that have been installing for years and they're like, this is going to make me 30 minutes faster installing because they didn't think about this or that. What do you need to do? What do you need to do faster? What do you need to do to speed up the process of getting your quotes out? How long is it taking you to get your quotes out? Are you getting them out in 5 minutes or is it 5 hours or 24 hours? Because if it's taking you 24 hours, you're losing jobs. You're losing business. And yes, I know there's people that are taking 24 hours to get them out. Are you getting jobs done in an hour or is it taking you 3 and 4 hours that should take you an hour or two to get them done? Why is it taking you so long? What systems do you need to fix? What about your, how are you getting your reviews? Are you asking for them at the beginning of the job, the end of the job, and every time in between? Or are you just saying, hey, would you please leave me a review? That would be great. Because if that's what you're saying, you're not going to get no reviews. If you never ask for a review, you're not going to get no reviews either. This is why I teach. You ask from the very get-go on the phone call. you're on the phone call and you say, hey, our goal is to make you so happy that you want to leave us a 5-star review. That's what you're telling them. That's what you're telling them. And then when you get there, hey, our goal is to make you so happy you want to give us a 5-star review. And then at the end of the job, is there any reason why you wouldn't give me a 5-star review? Awesome. Here, will you just tap your phone on here to get the tap card? Or here, would you take and scan this QR code and do it right now? Why do I want it done right now? Because if I don't get it done right now, they're probably not going to do it later. So these are all things that every one of these businesses are doing right now. I promise you they are. I know they are. And so this is what's getting them to be able to grow their business. Is it easy? No, it's not easy. It can be a pain in the butt. You know, I've known people that have 3, 4 crews, and one day you got 2 crews, 1 crew. I was one of them. One time we had 4 trucks going out that day, and not one of my employees showed up because they were all fighting each other. That was a great day. That was not a great day. It was a day that sucked. But what's your backup plan? What's your plan if that happens? What are you going to do? Are you going to sit there and mope around, or are you going to take action? That's the question. You know, I know people that will take action, and if I tell them, hey, try this, do that, they take action on it. That's the whole key of it. It's not me telling them step by step. It's, hey, you need to do this. You need to get this done. And they take action on it. It's amazing what can happen when you take action. What's your thoughts, questions? Too many competitors in my area. I have to charge $4 a foot. I've heard this a bunch. This is the biggest load of crap, right? Daniel's putting $1 on the front of that, $14 a foot. But is there people in his area that charge $4 a foot? Absolutely there is. There's the handyman that's putting up the Home Depot lights. There's the yin-yangs out there putting them up for nothing because they don't know no better. It's beer money. It's whatever. But when you worry about what your competitors are doing, you're not worrying about what you're doing. You're not staying focused on what you're doing when you're worried about what your competitors are doing. And this is the importance of worrying about what you need to do and not what your competitors are doing. Because if you worry about what your competitors are doing, you're not worrying about what you need to do. You're not worrying about how much money do I need to spend in Facebook ads. You're not worrying about what videos I need to make to get more engagement. You're not worrying about any of those things at the end of the day. So that's why it's important that we take action and make it happen. Can you explain how to quote a 30 to 60 foot trees for cities? I plan to hit a bunch for next year. Contract pricing since material is insane. So some of it's just going to depend on how big they are. What do they want? Are we branch wrapping them? Are we, what are they going to, what are they? Are they branch wrap? Are they canopy wrap? How much are they evergreen trees? Depends on kind of what they are and where you're looking at them. And it's probably going to depend on what you're going to do. Also, tonight, I am going to give away a pitch hopper. If you all got questions, I'll answer that one too there, Morgan. But I am going to give away a pitch hopper. I posted in the group that if you posted a picture of your home or of a home that you posted, I was trying to get it up on the website. I wasn't able to get it up on the website and make it look right for you all to vote. So I'm just going to put it in there and we are going to vote on this here. I'm not going to vote on it. I'm going to put it in here and we're going to get this done here for you all to see who wins. And we'll kind of go from there. I got to do something here because ChatGPT is kind of pissing me off. I don't know why it's wanting to piss me off, but it is. And so that's kind of what I'm going to do. Not the real ones. I have a 4.5 gallon and a 5 gallon pressure washer. Does connecting them with a Siamese connector work well? And do you recommend doing it? I'm not sure if this is the right question for this live. Yes, you can do that for sure. And that will give you a 9 gallon a minute. I've done this many times. And so it does work. So that will work. Sometimes they say, depending on what kind of unloader you have, will depend on if you need a check valves and stuff. I did mine with just a T. Typically, when you start one pressure washer, you'll want to start it with low, with it on lower, like you want it on a little bit lower. So that's kind of where you want it to be at. Exactly. All right, now it did better. It wasn't working very well for me, but I will post this up here also when I get that going. The frame ones that come in section. Oh, you talk about those. So those are very expensive, and it depends on the size of the tree. It depends on what they want. There's different packages for that. And so those will depend on kind of what they want and how you do them. I will say that when you get into that, you're more of an asset business. One of the things I would say, O2 is there does take a lot of storage. Those trees take up a lot of room, depending on how big those trees are. So those are definitely something that you can think about. But also, you're looking at 20, 30, 40, 50, $100,000 in those trees. So a lot of those trees you don't make no money your first year or very little. It's the second year is when you make your money. The second and third year is when you really make your money. But those trees at 30 foot will hold, what was it? It takes like 15 boxes of 4x4 boxes. So you also got to remember the storage of those suckers take up a lot of storage, Nathan. So that's something to think about. Those is the storage. Yeah, that's what you're charging. 40, 50 to $60,000 a year is what you, if it's like a $45,000 tree, that's what you're charging. You really don't want, you can do the contracts. That way, if they do it for 3 years, then that way it's not so bad. But even if they don't do it, you still have that asset. So that's the good thing about. All right. So this is what I did. I'm going to show you what I did. So that way, when I give this pitch hopper away, you don't say I cheated. Let's see if it'll come up here. Copy of screen. Is this the screen I want? Yeah, that's the screen I do. So what I did is this is the Chat GPT browser here. I don't know if y'all been in the Chat GPT thing or not. Is it not going to stay following me? So it's not. That's awesome. Let me try this other one here. That's not what I wanted. All right, maybe I won't be able to do this. What I want to do. So what I did is I just put it all in Chat GPT here, and it gave me all the list of names, a whole bunch of them, 126 names here is what it did. And I'm just going to go down here, and I'm going to try to, if it will. I don't know why it's not following along, because that would make too much sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here to the bottom of it, and I'm going to talk into it here and ask it to pick a winner. So then that way it ain't me picking a winner. It is, that ain't what I want. This is actually something snapshot for a Santa Claus that I was looking at. figure out how to get to this. So who's going to win the pitch hopper? Who wants to win a pitch hopper? Who all uses a pitch hopper? What's this being retarded for? That's what I want. Get this to work. Don't you love technology? I love technology. Technology is awesome when it works. Profile. There we go. So we're down here. I'm going to just come up here and put in here that I'm going to put in here that says, I need you to pick one winner out of this 26 people that who will win the pitch hopper. And I will put it here, and I know it's not keeping up with it, so I'm going to have to go back to the main screen. So it picked the winner. Let me go back here to where I can show it and come back so you can see who the winner is. So that way you can't say I picked someone. This is ChatGPT picking it. And I will be doing another drawing. You can see here that I just said I need you to pick a winner out of the 26 people, and it picked it, and it said that winner is Mitchell Hips. So if you are Mitchell Hips, you will need to text me message me on Facebook to get your winning prize. If you don't text me, then I don't have to send you a pitch hopper, but if you want to claim it, you will need to message me for that you won the pitch hopper. So Mitchell Hips is the guy that is what you are is the winner of the pitch hopper. I will be doing another drawing this week. I think I know what it is. I'm not 100% sure. It's actually going to be better than that. But yes, that is what we will be doing. Good evening, Mr. Pat. Mr. Pat Riley. He's done awesome this year. He focused on himself this year and grew this business. William, is that the Lake Tahoe in the background? I don't know. I just is a picture of my screen stuff here. This dude never works, never prepared. It works. Sometimes it ain't got to be perfect. Some people think everything has to be perfect, and I promise you it don't have to be perfect. I know a lot of people think it has to be perfect, but it doesn't, and it is what it is. So I can show you people make $1 million and their stuff ain't perfect. So with that, if you need anything, christmaslights.io. We are still shipping stuff out. I know people still ordering stuff. If you need anything, if you need a website, want a website, hit me up. I'm help you out in any way I can. Again, I've been on many phone calls with people and helping them grow their business. Been on many coaching calls, helping people grow their business. And it's exciting to see people that are hitting the 6 figures and 7 figures. That's what's exciting for me. And I love helping people hit 6 and 7 figures. You know, you can blame other things of why you can't get there, or you can figure out and take action and make things happen. And that's why it's important that you take action and you make things happen. I know some people love to make excuses, and excuses doesn't get you anywhere. Because if I was worried about being perfect and this little thing here mishap happened, I'd be upset. But it's okay. You can get to there. You know, I know people that sit there and will make excuses after excuses after excuses of why they can't charge $8 a foot, why they can't get to six figures, why they can't do whatever it is, because there's always an excuse. And excuses never get you where you want to be at. Excuses are the things that hold you back. I see it too many times. People think that it's got to be perfect. I've seen people try to start businesses and it'll take 6 months for them to get their logo done because it's not perfect. It ain't got to be perfect. Just get it done. Put it out there. You can't tell if it's perfect or not until you put it out there and see, is it good or not? You know, I see so many people worry about things, and I see so many people worry about the stupid stuff that doesn't matter. And it's the important part of, are you going to take action or are you going to worry about the stupid things? Because I love helping people, but at the end of the day, you are the one that's got to take the action. You got to go out there and make it happen. You can sit there and think about, well, I do. If I was in Daniel's area, I'd be able to get it too. That's what the $6 a foot guy would say too, because there is $6 a foot guys in that same area. But, you know, what are they doing to take action? Are you learning from the right people? I know people that I tell you, you're probably not learning from the right people. Are you learning? Who are you listening to? Are you listening to people in your area because that's what they said? Or are you going to take action, not worry about what they say? These are the important part. This season is not over. Big corporation budgets come in February, March. Go get them, sell Christmas lights all year. Go get it. I have one already in March to bid over 30 trees and over 250 feet or 2,500 feet. This business is built over the year, not just in October and November. And I'd agree 100%. Like I said, I know people that are booked out all this week. DJ just closed the job today for $4,200. This is the important part of it, right? No need to be perfect, because you ain't never going to be perfect, I promise you. So with that, if you need any lights, christmaslights.io. And other than that, go take action. If you want, I will have another giveaway next week. If you want to see, make sure you're in the group to figure out what that giveaway is. It's probably going to be worth about $1,000, I think, if it's what I think it is. So go be ready to take action. And so with that, let's go take action. Let's finish out this year staying safe, staying on roofs, not falling off. And with that, we'll see y'all later.